Hi, I'm Abhinay Jain, and you are tuned into The Garage Story. In this podcast, we speak to early stage startup founders about their zero to one journey, those first, often messy steps of turning an idea into reality. Powered by Cloud for Startups, we are all about real, unfiltered stories of grit, growth, and everything in between. Today, I'm excited to have Akshat with me. Akshat is building Ziffi Games, and this is super exciting. This is something which is very close to my heart. Gaming is something I love, so many of us love. And on top of that, chess, and on top of that, super fast chess, right? So, Akshat, very, very excited to have this conversation. Looking forward to learning a lot from you. How are you
Sure.
feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Thank you for having me, Abhinay.
First of all, actually, right? I mean, before we go there, I see Zifi chess and there is Zifi as name, right? So I'm just trying to understand what is Zifi. Is it a gaming company that is starting with chess, or is it more, there is more to it, or you're going to focus on chess?
It's definitely a gaming company that is starting with chess. That's why we are also like we call ourselves Ziffi Games on LinkedIn even now. But having said that, right now we are razor sharp focused on chess and making it work. So for now, chess is all there is for some time till we achieve a certain scale.
So, Akshat, really great career you have had. Okay, you have went to one of the best institute in the country, IIT Bombay. You have worked with one of the best name in the startup ecosystem. You have been with Blinkit. You have had a great career, right, to start with. How did you convince yourself, right, to leave that behind and start something of your own, which comes at its own risk, right? So how did you convince yourself to take this step?
To be honest, I think this decision comes much more naturally to me than a lot others. I like to call myself as a founder by profession. So Zifi is actually my third company. I had started two companies prior to Blinkit, and while Blinkit was a super enriching journey, I'm grateful to all the people there who and learned a lot about product and business there. But it was over 5 years in Blinkit for me at that time, and it just felt ready. I just felt ready. I felt excited to go back into entrepreneurship again. So I think more than the idea, it was just the desire to start up again that helped me take that plunge.
Got it. So can you tell me a little bit about your first couple of startups that you did, just to understand what happened, what you learned there, how did it go for you?
So I am actually I've done a master's in structural engineering, and I used to be a practicing bridge designer. That's how I
Oh,
started my career. And like 3 years into working in bridge design, me and a bunch of friends we realized that we can do this a lot better on our own, and
okay.
we can also make a lot more money doing this on our own. So uh, there's a funny story around that. Like we saw a certain work order for a client that we were servicing,
Okay.
and they were being paid in crores while the work was being done by us. And I think that was the moment when it flipped. Then we're like, we should be earning crores,
Yeah.
and that's when we put up this company called Force Structural Engineers. Force is actually a running company even now. We design bridges and flyovers for contractors around the country. And Force specializes especially in complex structures like cable stayed bridges like Bandra Worli, or even suspension bridges. And that was our dream at that time as well, to take Indian bridge engineering to the next level, because traditionally these things were happening abroad. Like Indian contractors used to outsource this work to foreign consultants.
Okay. This
So
this is super interesting. One second. You are actually building the real engineering part, which is building bridges. That's what you have done. Which year was it?
I started working in 2010, and we started Force in 2013, and I was a part of Force till 2016. Post which, uh, so 3 years into running, I think we got the company to be barely profitable in 3 years,
By the way,
and
this is the first time, and very happy to hear. a startup story into civil construction space. Mostly, you
Oh,
get
yeah,
not,
it's
yeah,
it's
but
very cool. We were five founders. The other four are still running force. Their office is in Mumbai, and they're doing quite well.
oh,
I'm super
so
proud of the work those guys have done. It was an amazing journey while I was there, and it was my first startup. Honestly, I didn't know what a startup was at that time. We just looked at it as a business. There's another funny story about me hearing about how startups raise millions of dollars, and I also went to one of our seniors who also happened to be an angel investor in a lot of IT Bombay startups, and I told him that I want a few $1 million, and because those are cash flow crunch times, so he was like, "Why should I give you the money? Why you have to?" And then he made me understand, okay, how the startup ecosystem works, and that is also an interesting segue into how we started our second startup. So this is how I and my co-founders learned about the startup ecosystem and what VC funding means and what kind of businesses get funded by VC funding. And the technology part also excited all of us. And to be honest, we were also a little carried away maybe, and we started another company in parallel. It was called Routin,
okay.
and this is basically real-time information for public transport commuters.
Okay.
So, if your bus is on time or not, where is it? If your train is
Right.
on time or not, where is it? Those things we used to crowdsource that information and
Mm-hmm.
give it to the users. So
Got
this we ran in parallel for about a year, but unfortunately, this business didn't work out so well, and that's when. But in the process, I learned how to code. I learned how to design. I don't think we knew about a term called product management at that time, and
So
but
that's
we
super
knew that.
interesting in a way. What I am hearing, right? There are so many thoughts that are coming. First of
Yeah,
all, you are building bridges actually, right? Construction. On the other side, you hear, and it's very obvious, right? 2013, 14, 15 in India, right? Funding was just coming. Sometimes it was crazy who all are raising funds. So it's very obvious that, hey, can we raise funds as well? So that was the knowledge. I don't think even I had any knowledge at that point as well, right? So that was how most of us were. You went to an LM who helped you understand, and probably that gave you an idea that maybe
yeah.
in public transport information system you can do something, and you learned coding now. You
Yeah, I mean,
actually
it was
learned.
very hard to find developers at that time. Yeah, like I think
Wow.
I reached out to a few of my friends, computer science graduates, and they're all like, "Dude, I'm earning so much here. Why should I come join you?" And that's when I think we'll have to do this on our own, and that's how it happened.
Wow, wow. No, this is a lesson in itself. Yeah, I mean, if you have to start, you want to start, you can learn and do that. But actually, not only that, I was just going through. So at Blinkit, which department were you in?
So I used to lead consumer product for Blinkit. Uh,
Okay, so you were in product, so you moved into hardcore product,
yes,
learning from this startup, and then you moved to Blinkit. When did you join Blinkit?
I joined Blinkit in Feb 2017. Mhm.
Got it. So after 1 year of doing that, you moved into Blinkit. You were there till 2021. Good 5 years. Good growth as well. And
Mhm.
I'm assuming with Blinkit, you would have grown your knowledge about startups, scaling businesses, and so many things, right?
I think it was an immense period of learning for me. There, there were a lot of great people. I think Albinder and Saurabh had put up a really smart bunch of people together, and there was a lot to learn from them as well as in the entire team. I think I had a lot of epiphany moments while working in Blinkit. In the quick commerce, I got my first taste of real product market fit as well. And they say product market fit is a PMF is a feeling, like you right. So it is true. And while we rolled out quick commerce as a pilot in Gurgaon first, actually there was a lot of learnings in rolling that out as well, which has now empowered me to be able to do what I do. So I had no idea about user empathy. I had no idea about design. I had lots to learn from LB directly there as well. So yeah, in fact, CleverTap also for the first time I had used in Blinkit only. That
Yeah.
was also interesting. The entire analytics piece was also an interesting learning for me.
Got it. So I hear you and I understand one part. You are a good learner. If you want to do something, you can learn
Thank you.
from from bridges to coding. You could do it. It's sometimes it's just that desire to learn something that you move ahead. Also, good learning or actually a question.
Mhm.
Sometimes fresh out of college, when you start something, you get into this mode of just starting once, not working, maybe pivoting and so on. What value do you think of doing a job in a scale up like Blinkit, or for that matter any other scale up, right?
Yeah.
If you have done some startup, it is not working, do you see value in taking up a job like this for a few years and then maybe trying up again? Do you think it's a good advice?
Yes, sometimes, like for me, it was not an option, to be honest. Like, at least it didn't feel like an option. I'm sure there are ways, but like it didn't feel like an option.
Why not?
And because like I ran out of personal money, right?
Yeah.
Even like Force was not big enough to pay me back at that time, and I just got married a year ago, and that brought in another different set of responsibilities, and all of that combined, maybe I was a little burnt out or tired as well, and so that monthly salary gives you a good cushion to also come out of that burnout, and to, like, once now I'm able to do things again, because yes, I've learned a lot of things, but also I'm a little more comfortable financially. I've built, like, Blinkit has been helpful in that regard as well. So, but it is, I think, to each his own. Like, what you need to identify is, like I said, I feel like being a founder is my profession. So I will be at it. Like, I might have to do something else, but I will come back again.
Oh, makes sense. Burnout is real. Family responsibilities is real. Having the cushion sometimes give you the freedom to think bigger and for a larger runway. Maybe you can think 10 years now, right? When you have some cushion, the basics are in place, right? So I kind of agree with your point as well. Coming to Zifi, when did you guys start Zifi? Who all are there in founding team? How did you guys meet?
So we started Zifi. We launched Zifi in last October, actually. Uh, but before that, we were doing something else with this. So my co-founder here is Aditya, who is again a batchmate from IIT Bombay. He also worked for 6 years at Blinkit,
Okay.
and so both of us were in a similar place when we started. He joined. So there's an interesting story of how he joined me as well, because initially started up alone,
Okay.
and then, I realized how tough it can be to be a solo founder. It was a little lonely.
So you have the
Yeah.
founding team. I'm still thinking guy building bridges or selling groceries would ideally start something in a nearby space. How come Ziffi Games? What made you start a gaming company, RMG or Real Money Gaming Company?
That's a very interesting question. The short answer to that is, I think real money gaming is great business.
Hmm.
But the slightly nuanced and longer answer is that I actually started with building a social network for sports enthusiasts,
Okay.
like sports fans, like myself and Aditya. Uh,
Hmm.
we we both love sports, and we always
What
felt
all do
like,
you like to? What all do you guys like to watch generally?
Aditya is a big cricket and tennis fan. I'm a big football fan. I used to watch and play a lot of basketball in my childhood as well. So between us, we kind of got all sports covered. And the insight was that, everybody wants to watch matches with somebody else. Like, you ideally want to go to a bar or somebody's place, and or a stadium. But in
Having a
our life,
social
we're constrained.
company, yeah,
Uh,
having a social company in doing these things together makes it a better
Yeah.
experience.
So that's what we started out to solve. But I very quickly realized that, while that's a great problem to solve, but different problems are come with different degrees of risk.
Okay.
So like ability to think bigger.
Yeah.
So that's how I think the foray into real money gaming came.
So when did actually you start? When did you start working in a way that focused on Zifi, like with Ziffi Games as focus last year?
Yeah, so last year IPL was not great for us in Sports Fam, which was the earlier company.
Okay.
We did crack something, but then we realized that to do something in the social space, you need to be fairly close to actual betting, and that
Okay.
of course is not legal. And we were in a tough spot at that time. This is August, I think, last year, and that's when. If we could layer the excitement of winning money on top of that. So I think that's how Zifi was born.
Got it. Now I can relate. IPL,
Hmm.
T20, things working, not working, chess on the other side. So chess, T20,
Hmm.
T20 of chess, Zifi chess is born.
Yeah,
So it's
actually, that's interesting. Yes.
connect there. So awesome. So I understand this part now. Now the next question that is coming in my head is, I'm in your place, okay?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
chess can be made interesting. We are
Yeah.
product guys. We can do something, and we are confident of doing that.
Mhm.
RMG, real money gaming. At that point, I am assuming the taxation, some GST rules, some changes were
It
happening.
wasn't there actually. Like it
Oh, it
came
wasn't
after.
there then.
Ha, ha,
Okay,
ha.
good that actually it wasn't there, so that you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
more
you're
deeply.
right.
Yeah, but on the other side, still I'm thinking of the competition part, right? That there is MPL, there is Winzo, there are decent number of such platforms which have scaled at a decent level. Okay, few are doing good, few are not doing good. Did you feel? Do you feel these are competition, or do you feel that's not a direct competition? They are very different, and you are very different. Also, did the competition play a part whether you want to go ahead or not into this?
Well, to be honest, the competition encouraged us because the competition was doing really well, right? Like the only companies that were making thousands of crores at that time were real money companies, and
Hmm.
so we were excited, and we were just trying to find a white space in this. You still want to escape competition,
Right.
so. To, ultimately everybody is competition, like we are also competing with Instagram that ways, but for the users time.
Correct.
um, but if you find a white space where you think you can make it your playground and the rules are yours, then it's
Hmm.
fine, right? And so that's how we saw that,
Yeah. So basically, you understood competition is there, but at the same time, there are some white spaces. If we do innovate around it, competition gives you an idea that people are now, customers are now ready to put money into games if the game is known to them and they are happy. And when did you launch the app for Zifi Chess?
October. Actually, we launched in September, but we started pushing it in October 23.
And how did you get your first 100,000 users? Because it's not, it can't be on Play Store, right? Or can it be?
No, it can be. And initially, we launched a free version of the app, so you can. Right now,
Okay.
also our free version is on the Play Store, and
Okay.
the cash version you have to download. But the initial, so we had like a small community for from sports fam,
Okay.
and so that helped us very quickly get.
Okay. What
And
was it?
it was just some real money influencer talking about a new game in town, and I think so that video broke our servers. Like suddenly, from 100 games an hour, we were doing like 3,000 games an hour.
Oh,
And kudos to our founding engineering team to be able to quickly manage that. I think we escaped with very little downtime. That was quite cool. And it's funny how then a lot of other influencers started reaching us that we'd like to collab with you, this and that. But we were busy tackling our servers for that week, and then we said, okay, yeah, let's just keep this on hold for now. Let's just focus on making sure that everything's running fine. And then a week later, all of them started putting Zifi videos out for free again, and that gave us another jump. And that, so this was a chain reaction, and so we ended up doing some 2 million games in December. So that was quite cool actually.
I now this insight makes it a lot relevant. Yeah, when you said that those who are already playing RMG now, there are many of these players go through, have followed the YouTube influencers or these people, right, who do these videos. So there's a correlation. RMG, if you have played, you're following a certain time of audience, right, is already there. So you are right on the audience that wants to come. Just tell me one thing. I saw it is random start. Six
Mm.
moves is how you have to play,
Yeah.
and you are done in 2 minutes, right?
Yes.
It's pretty fast and good.
Mm.
Does did you experiment around it before coming to this format, like 6 moves or 10 moves, or
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah?
That's an interesting question. So in we experimented in August itself. So this idea came, and then we wanted to try it. So chess.com has a feature called classrooms, where
Okay.
chess tutors can. And
True.
then we took it to our friends again on classroom, and we said, "Ki, yaar, between the two of us, it's fun. Can you also try it with us? Is it fun for you?" And we got a really positive response, and that's when we decided to build it.
Right. So what a nice way of doing the experiment. You could figure out you do not even have to build the product. You found a hack, got it, tested it, and then before you build the product, right, which is time consuming and very nice, very nice. Good to hear that as a trick, and I'm pretty sure that's going to help a lot of
Yeah, I think
future entrepreneurs.
that has been our way to operate for a while now. Like whenever there's an idea, what is the quickest way we can feel it? What is the quickest way to feel the product? And we spend a lot of time thinking about that. Now I think, how can I feel this fastest? So that's a flip.
Got it. Makes sense. Makes sense. So that's the reason I think once you knew, you moved ahead, and you are super focused that you have mentioned because you want to get good traction, build a
Yeah.
decent congruency of finding, players, competitors. So that's important. Tell me one thing: is this in a very similar type of format available on any of these other RMG platforms that we have?
Not that I know so
Okay.
far. Uh, Most platforms offer you 1 minute bullet chess or 3 minute blitz chess,
Okay.
and so some platforms have that, but no, like our format, I haven't found anywhere else.
Got it. And so once you have the format, now this is something that is going to work. Have you started raising funds so that you can increase the pace of execution? Have you raised any funds? How
We
is
did
the
we did raise a small round to be able to build the team.
right?
We did that Jan to March period. We raised some funds. I think, yeah.
And what's the team size like now? Do you have more people apart from the co-founders?
We are a team of 10 people now,
Nice. Good.
mostly devs and designers.
Right, right. So now you have the team idea. What is the next? Where are we currently in terms of, let's say, whatever? What do you track as a KPI at this point? What are your KPIs that you look day in, day out? Uh, what is the number that you are looking to achieve, maybe in 1 year or 3 year?
Like 1 year is a long time. Actually. So this KPIs keep varying. I think the smaller the startup, the more your goal post is shifting.
Right.
So when we started, the metric was engagement. We were chasing how many games are people playing. We realized like people are spending much more than an hour on an average on the platform.
Got it. So I understand initially you looked at engagement as the KPI. Second one was when you started monetizing, right? Then when you started looking at deposits, right? What's the recharge or deposit rate? Third was once you have done, what is the long-term retention, which is in gaming world is D7 or generally D30 is what we can kind of consider as long-term, or D7 is also a good indication, right? Then now next you are on to is scaling. So that's when you start looking at DAO, MAO, etc. I'm assuming US is a daily use case, so you will be focusing a lot on DAO, right? The
Yeah.
DAUs.
Yes,
Got it, got
DAUs
it,
is the big metric.
got it. Any number that you can share at this point? Where are you in terms of scale,
I,
or
I,
analytics?
I I think the number that I can share is that I told you December we were doing 2 million games. They were all free games.
Okay.
And then once we started monetization and then we, pulled the plug on free rewards, our games significantly dipped. Now we have, now we are at a stage where we are doing a lot more games than December, but
Mhm.
they're all paid games. So I think it's will can give you some idea of the scale that we are at, but still very very early days. I think
Understood.
we need to go far.
And how do you get, and so basically in gaming, right? Once you have the engagement, there is some predictability in terms of funnel. 100 users install app,
Yeah.
5 or 10, let's say 10 will do the deposit, 5 will do the second deposit, and so on, right? And you have your funnel ready. The
Hmm.
next biggest problem is what is the CAC, right? Acquisition cost per
Yeah.
install,
Yeah.
right? So, how do you plan to increase the install base? Are there any thoughts, ideas, or experiments that you are doing? You're hopeful
I
of?
think the first straightforward answers are Google and Meta ads. We are experimenting with them. Apart from that, we just launched a short format.
Maybe you will, because you mentioned that those who are exposed to RMG, right? They are a good prospect. So, any possibility of partnering with, let's say, Dream 11s of the world to probably get their base. Anything on those lines you see might unlock growth, or is it too early?
I haven't thought of that honestly. I am not sure. Might be interesting. Mhm.
But yeah, so there. But I definitely understand ads in your maths, whatever numbers, right? Unit economics you have in your head,
Yeah.
till what cost per install in
Mm.
INR or rupees do you think you can still make the maths work? Any thought you have given?
Currently, if you are in digit cost per install, generally speaking, because your deposit rates and all vary by source, vary by channel.
Correct,
So
correct,
if you have
correct.
a really high deposit rate, you could go higher maybe. But
Right.
so far what we have seen on certain channels, like single digit cost per install is good for us.
Got it, got it. No, yeah. Also, I think you're right. The source of acquisition, right? Be it organic, paid also, the
Yeah.
channel you're getting, um, these have a very different cohort in itself, right? So sometimes I remember even you can get install for 2 rupees as well, right? It's possible in India, but the quality of install is so poor at times that it does not make any sense. So yeah,
Correct. That's the big question for us, to be honest, right now. Like, how does our cost of acquisition scale? And this is the big question remaining in finally us being able to call Zifi a business, I think.
yeah.
So we'll see. I think this is a journey for us to yet to be discovered.
Got it. Do you have any global name
Hmm.
in a similar space which you aspire to be, or probably, if I say everything goes as planned or much better, the most optimistic scenario, right?
Hmm.
Uh, what could Ziffi Games be in future? Maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line. Just saying, right? Hypothetically, what are the names?
I think our thing. I can't think of a global aspiration, to be honest. But our thing is that it might be real money. It might not be real money. Again, yet to be seen.
Got it, got it. So for you, definitely right. How it evolves at this point, it's just to grow, and there are
Yeah.
obviously good number of names, games that you can add, and that is definitely a dimension that will unlock growth for you. Once you have the playbook, I think it will be much faster, and expanding
Yeah.
from one to probably 10 games should not be
Yeah.
a big problem. Also, you have mentioned that the insight is one person started playing with money, right? it is going to be same audience if you could figure out things like Sudoku. Like it's pretty good, right? I like Sudoku. I haven't, by the way, come across anything which is RMG plus Sudoku. Maybe I'm somebody who might like to try. So yeah, totally with you on that point. Already 2 years into building this. Maybe the sports fam was the first one, but 2.5 years, right, Akshat, building into this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Any mistake that you felt that you made while building Zifi, that you felt that, hey, I should have avoided this one, right? I mean, maybe.
Lots. I think like both sports fam and Ziffy eras are filled with mistakes and learnings. One big mistake was to not think, like I used to underestimate how important financial viability is. Like I
Mhm.
used to, like a big vision, and let's just go a big vision, passion, problem, hard problem. Let's just go after it. Let's make the world a better place. It's all good, but do you have the right to do that? Do you have the runway to do that? Like to it sounds obvious in hindsight, but at least I didn't have this clarity when I started. Otherwise I would have started a different business when I started, so that was could have saved me a couple of years. Then other than that, I think in sports fan we overestimated the complexity we can serve to users. I of being right more often than wrong. Like your job is to take the right bets.
Hmm.
And as a founder, I think you can be measured on that as a parameter. If you were to rate founders, that in your space, how often can you be right? And for that, you need to develop like a deep empathy for your users. And empathy, I think I used to say this earlier, maybe as well, but I think I used to misunderstand empathy. I used to think about empathy as knowing what my users are doing, like what is their life scenario, context, and how are they using my products. To now, I think it is more about being able to feel what they are feeling. And it's still a challenge. I'm still trying to learn more about it. How to, like, for instance, like, big secret, like, I've never been a real money gamer. I have always played games, but never been a real money gamer. It still is hard for me to sometimes empathize with how a real money gamer will feel, and I have to use these tricks and techniques. I'm still reading books on how to improve on that dimension. I think that's a constant learning.
Got it. do you do you also think, do you feel that, in India at least, or for RMG, right, cricket takes a lion's share, I mean, by a huge amount, okay? Do you see, and it has kind of become commoditized, right? I mean, there are many apps for and every IPL 10 more comes, right, come into play, right? Do you have any plan, anything that you feel, because that will give you a good access, all the problems are solved, it is probably, or you think that it is just too competitive to build anything in
No, no,
cricket,
I have a feeling we'll build something in that space. Like it's close to both me, my and Aditya's heart,
right?
and I am sure there are opportunities there. Like I am sure you could have said this like a few years ago, and then Probo came, and then you could have said this again, and then I'm sure somebody else will come. So I am sure there will be with, especially now with technology evolving at such a rapid pace, there will be new opportunities. But
Got it.
I don't know when, and I don't know what.
Understood. I have one question which I'm going to ask to you. You come from IIT, you have a great, what to say, uh, resume, something that VCs generally love, and people say that if you are from IIT building in India, VCs are chasing you to just fund. how true or different it is from reality.
I found it really hard to raise funds, to be honest. I think so much so that we almost decided to bootstrap Zifi, but we were lucky to actually be. And I think that's where I struggled as well initially.
Got it. No, so that makes sense as well, in the sense that I also feel you have proven, right, in your career multiple times, you and anyone who with that resume has proven that, hey, I can be hardworking, I have the basic intelligence in place. So it makes sense, right, to at least hear the person and then finally to the merit of the idea and how things go. Do you feel, now the next question is, in India you have been around 2013 to 2024, 10, 11 years, we have had a dream run in a way, to couple of cycles in between, but last 10 to 11 years in Indian startup ecosystem has been great. When you are raising funds, do you feel now it is kind of maturing and VCs are asking a lot more questions. They are being more defensive. Maybe the 2022-23, whatever has happened, right, has made them adjust their approach as well. Did you feel that?
100%, yeah, yeah. Like I think there has been a big correction since 22. I was actually unlucky to fall in the middle of those dips that you're talking about both times. So
Yeah.
in 2016, our signed term sheet got cancelled in Rutin, and in 2022 again we were raising our angel round when this happened. So our angel check size, our angel round shrunk by half. But I think that's fine. After that, yeah, there was a very very sharp correction for some time. Like second half of 22 was brutal for many startups, especially the ones who had raised capital and had. I have a, you change your thesis, things that will happen. It'll again crash. I think those things.
Yeah. No, the very, very helpful. So good to hear your thoughts. Many things, many of the ideas that you have shared. Also, I really love the way you defined. We want to experiment this. The way you did it with chess, right? The classroom that they had, and the ideas. It's so good to hear, and I'm pretty sure uh, this is a space which will get a lot of traction, right? I mean, in a way, when you talk to me and when you tell me chess, a lot of people want to play. Uh, Again, and there is so much to build from not only chess, take the learning and expand. So I'm very helpful that CleverTap is also part of the journey, and we could also, gaming is one of the key verticals, e-commerce gaming, right? These are the verticals. With Blinkit we have been in e-commerce, with
Yeah.
with you and gaming, right? So I was super excited. Hope we can partner and do a lot more to increase your engagement time, your deposit rate, your D1, D30, you name it. You give us the KPIs and we'll do much better there, right? So very excited to partner with you, Akshat.
Same, very grateful to CleverTap and you as well. And this is a lot of fun, and hope to grow all those metrics you're talking about rapidly.
Done. Next time we meet, we are going to also play chess. I am horrible, but I still hope the deposit that I make, I'll get the refund. So hope to play that game soon.
No promises there.
Great.
But our game is, designed for people who have not played in a long time. Maybe you'll win. Don't, never say never. Let's see.
Done. Definitely. Thanks, Akshat, for your time. It was pleasure talking to you, and look forward to having a chatting with you again very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Abhinay.